This video, I'll be doing an updated review of Kaedehara Kazuha, who is on the current 2.8 Phase 1 banner. The other one is Klee. And Shikanoin Heizo has made his debut as well. So it's been a while since I did do a review of and a build for Kazuha. Previously, when I built him, I did a hybrid build, a little bit of EM and a little bit of crit rate and attack. This time around, I rebuilt him, and now he's only focused on Elemental Mastery. Now, it's not perfectly all Elemental Mastery, but at least he's closer to being more Elemental Mastery and less crit build and attack build. And I'll get into the details there. Also, since then, I have double crowned him. I don't think I double crowned him back then, but that was my previous update, of course. And of course, I do have the Freedom Sworn, so I do want to put that out there as well. Now, this video is titled C0 Kazuha build, basically, Kazuha review. However, I want to be open and honest here. I was lucky and fortunate, and very fortunate that I got him to C1, all using just wishes that I had, didn't pay for it. That was just happened recently when I pulled for Shikanoin Heizo. I got C0 Shikanoin Heizo, and then I just pulled a few more after I did that polling video, because I stopped right when I got him. And I did a few more polls. Within 20 polls, I got one more copy of Heizo, which is not a big deal, but I did that Heizo review right before this, and I got one more copy of Kazuha. So it came really early, basically, within 20 polls. So I was super happy, and I already activated it. So yeah, we'll go into that. Alrighty. So I've rebuilt him, so his stats would be different than the last time I did it. I also moved some of his artifacts around. I took some from Sayu and from Sucrose. We moved some things around. So as I mentioned, I'm focusing on EM. This is not the highest, of course. I think the highest can go up to, like, I don't know, maybe like 500 or 600% damage in the percentage portion, and the EM number can be higher. I know that, but this is not the highest, but this is higher than his previous build that I had. As I mentioned, I'm focusing on EM, so I reduced his crit rate and crit damage, not on purpose, but because I moved artifacts around in favor of EM and ER, actually, Elemental Mastery and Energy Recharge. His Energy Recharge is higher than before. You can ignore the resistance here. It's because he's a mixed match team right now. And he just has a regular Anemo bonus, so I didn't give him an Anemo item. As I mentioned, he has a Freedom Sworn. This is his best in-slot weapon. If you don't have this, and you want to build him with EM, then of course the Iron Sting is the next best option. It's free, it's craftable, just hopefully you can have enough billets, so that's a great option. And then other weapons that you can consider are actually, and many other streamers have talked about this, the Sacrificial Sword is actually his other good option. And you're probably wondering, why is that? It's because his elemental skill is very useful, and this allows him to proc it twice quite often. And Energy Recharge, if you're doing an EM and ER build, it will allow him to get his burst up more often, and therefore fulfill his supporting role. Because previous, like I said, the other way to build him is to do either a hybrid or a focus on attack and crit damage and crit rate. Therefore, that would not need this. But then if you're doing like kind of a support slash sub DPS build, then this would be a great option. Another one is Favonius, so keep these in mind. And then, sorry, my mic disconnected for a moment there. Hopefully we're back. Other options would be the Festering Desire, but not many people have this because this is from the 1.2 event. Apologies, my mic cut off again. Okay, so hopefully it's just a few seconds. Sorry, let me continue. So then, yeah, this is a great weapon as well. Let's just repeat myself. And then other options, if you're doing the crit builds and such, of course, then the Black Cliff, the Black Sword, any of the crit focus weapons are going to be good. I'll be honest, the Haran and the Mist Splitter are not perfect for him, but they could work. Same with the Primordial Jade. They're not perfect for him, but they can work. And then another free-to-play option is the Amenoma. This looks good for him too, and this is not bad. And currently, I haven't done the event for him yet, but his event quest will give us the Cursed Blade. However, it's only available at R1, and it's not perfect for his kit. It's an attack percentage, and it's focused on normal charge and plunging attacks for passive, so not good for his kit at all, in my opinion. So don't bother building that. I already talked about that in my other video. Don't bother building it. But it's a cool blade, the other one, the Curse Blade, that will look good on him. And then, yeah, I think that rounds out all the options here. If you wanted another energy recharge option, then Skyward is also not bad. And then Aquila is not for him. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Artifact-wise, you need the 4-piece Viridescent Venerer set. That's probably his best in slot, so just focus on getting that. As I mentioned, I've removed some of his pieces around. I swapped with other players. So EM is important here, and EM is important here. And then lastly, I could not get an EM piece here. EM currently has one of the lowest drop rates for pieces for the main set, so I couldn't get one here and I couldn't farm it up. I tried my best to farm it a few more times, that domain, right before doing this video, but I couldn't get it. So this is the only other option, because as you can see, I don't have great options because I'm not doing the crit build, so I swapped those away to other characters. So this is as you can see, I don't have very many good pieces or decent pieces, so this is the next best option. At least it has energy and EM in this passive, so that's what I gave him. Constellations, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I was lucky and got his C1, but again, he's very user-friendly at C0. I've been using him, I only just recently got him at C1. I already did the most recent Abyss before the current reset coming in like 2 days, and I always have been able lately to, at least for the last few patches or several patches the last few months, been able to get 36 stars with him at C0, and he's fine, and that was a crit build. And with the most recent one, I re-updated it, and I was already switching to an EM build and was still able to get 36 stars. Of course, now that he's more EM even after doing the Abyss, then I think moving forward for the next cycle of the Abyss, hopefully he should still be able to help me get 36 stars. So yeah. Anyway, C1 really just removes the cooldown or lowers the cooldown for the elemental skill, which is very useful. So this is great. Again, we talked about it. If you have Sacrificial Sword, that will do its thing as well. But this is also good, of course. But this is not necessary, just so we're clear. And am I going to go for C2? And everyone says that C2 is his best constellation, and I would agree that it is, because it gives the elemental mastery 200%, sorry, not 200%, 200 points bonus, to the characters for himself and to his team. This is great, of course, if you're proccing lots of reactions. I would say that I'm not going to go hard and heavy on this banner because I'm saving my wishes for 3.0 and beyond. Had he come earlier, like say had he rerun like in 2.7 or 2.6, I probably would have went for his C2. I would have paid for it even if I had to. But because now we're so close to 3.0, I just have to be really careful here. Again, I was really lucky within 20 wishes. Basically 20 plus, just around there, I was able to get this constellation. I'm not complaining, but I'm not going to go any more deeper. I don't have that many more wishes left anyway, and realistically, I'm trying to be more like low spend on this account now, so I'm not going to. But this is a really great one if you are willing to spend the money and try risking it for this. C3 is definitely a +3 levels for his elemental skill, which is very useful. C4 will allow him to generate more energy back when he uses his elemental skill. And then C5 +3 levels for his burst, and C6, this is technically obviously his best, but I would argue C2 is probably his best, and if you want, C3 is also really good. But C6 definitely allows him to infuse his sword with Anemo, and therefore if you have the Anemo infused sword, you can then take advantage of the Mist Splitter, because he can't use the Mist Splitter properly to get all the stacks, because my current version of him does not have C6 obviously, so we can't infuse it, because C6 will allow him to take full advantage to get the maximum stacks on the Mist Splitter, but that's a very niche option, so hence I don't recommend the Mist Splitter or the Haran for him. You could make it work, but it's not recommended, those swords. All right, so again, we will move along now. Talons, I've double crowned him. Focus on his skill and his burst, and then normal attack you don't need to crown, but you can bring it up as high as possible. Maybe 8 is good enough, or 6 in some cases, or even lower if you don't plan to use them at all. I like this guy, so I did level him up and brought those up, okay? So that's the majority of the damage. You're going to end up using these the most. Moving along here, this one will just allow him to basically absorb the elements. He has the ability to kind of interplay between multiple swirls, like he can double swirl technically, 2 elements, and then reduce, basically deal extra damage of the absorbed elemental type, basically. So it's actually quite good, and then he allows them to, like, by absorbing 2 types of elements, he can technically allow that reaction to happen as well. And then this one, upon triggering a swirl reaction, he'll grant all party members with some elemental damage bonus, which is nice, again, for the element absorbed, etc. So that's pretty good, and it's also with every point of elemental mastery he has, so that's why it's very good to build him with EM. Lastly, this one just decreases stamina consumption when gliding. In terms of comps, he is an animal character, so he'll work well with every single reaction type. And the only one is that Geo doesn't have reaction types, but otherwise he'll work well with everyone that can do reaction types. So he's very versatile. So he's an amazing character. In my opinion, he's one of the must-pulls in the game. He, in my opinion, has already replaced Venti. Venti has been, in a way, replaced, although he is an Archon. But for example, other Archons that we currently have, Zhongli and Raiden Shogun, have not been replaced yet. So anyway, I feel that Kazuha still has lots of staying power moving forward. And yeah, so for this battle, I'm just using Klee here because she's on the current banner and she's really cute, obviously, but I'm using this to break the shield here. Okay, there we go. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Bring some of those bombs if they were there still. Do this. I'm going to throw some bombs down if I can. Okay. Yeah, like it's not hard with him. He's really easy to use. Like basically, I was just showing that he can basically react with anything that's on the field, and yeah, it's just really amazing. I mean, the cooldown for this is short now, and this is really useful for gathering enemies, gathering your items that you dropped from killing enemies, right? It's just very useful overall. I don't think that you need to go hard and heavy for his Freedom Sworn. Some people have actually even said that comparing his Freedom Sworn to like his C2, if you have the Freedom Sworn, then you don't need the C2. But of course, if you have the C2, then it just makes him even more stronger, right? Of course, right? So in my case, I'm lucky that I did get the Freedom Sworn way back. I think I got it on a rerun banner, not for his rerun banner, but it was considered one of the paired up weapons. Long ago. I didn't get it during the debut, but I got it later. And yeah, I was lucky that I got it and I didn't have to spend for it. So anyway, I love this guy. He's one of my favorite characters. So I recommend him as a must pull. That's my recommendation. And he's really easy to build. Hopefully you guys also feel the same and that a lot of players have been waiting, for like over a year for him or about a year for him. So now's your guys' chance. Hopefully, and good luck for you guys and girls to get him and or his weapon if you're willing to pull on the weapon banner. I previously did the Shikanoin Hazel review. Do check that out if you're interested. And moving forward, I will be talking more about the Freedom Sworn and also the Lost Prayer in 2 new videos coming right after this. So stay tuned for more, and I will see you guys there. Thanks so much, and we'll see you there.